Cain didn't have the luxury of forgetting why he did it or how Abel's blood had dripped off the stone and onto his corpse. He could still hear his mother's distant wailing, the mountains crumbling, and the sky cracking as a father mourned the death of his son, all because of Cain. Cain! Cain! You there? Leora watched as Cain jolted back to reality and moved his queen 6 places, toppling one of her pawns. Check. Aw, come on, every time. Man, thought I had you there. She pouted as he dissolved the captured piece back into light. You'd have to do better than this, little miss. She noticed the same absent-minded look spreading across Cain's face again. Is something the matter? You look troubled. Ah, just old memories. An old man lost in thoughts. Oh, what are you thinking about? For a brief moment, Cain's ever-pleasant demeanor drained from his face and he became someone else. Someone old and tired who had done many things he regretted. And then, as quickly as the look had appeared, he had banished it from his face again. Nothing in particular. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today we're bringing you a tale from the SCP Foundation. Let's play again tomorrow. Sure thing. Off you go now. Leora waved at him as the guard led her away from the cell. Cain waved back with a smile. The cell door shut tight and the smile once again faded away. Cain looked around his cell, nothing but cold steel and lifeless concrete. He sighed and spoke to himself. Haven't I suffered enough? How long do I have to carry this curse? When will it end? He missed the days when he used to walk the earth barefoot, when he used to collect wild berries and hunt in the woods with his brother. He could vividly feel the leaves brushing against his body and leaves crunching softly under his careful steps. He grew sad remembering how comforted he would feel when he lay down on the grassy ground after a day of hard work. I mean no disrespect, but isn't it nice? Being an immortal and all, like you don't need to worry about being sick and dying from things like cancer. You're free to do whatever you want, live however you want. Oh, how would you live your immortal life then, my friend? First thing first, to hell with this diet. I'm gonna eat whatever the hell I want. I only eat healthily to maintain my physique and keep my job. I'm sure you can imagine how this place is a meat grinder for men like us. Most of us die in missions that we can't even tell our loved ones about. To die like that? Nah, I wouldn't have to worry about a damn thing if I had a body like yours, Cain. Very well, I can see why you'd think that way, but you must consider its less desirable aspects as well. Yeah, plants and papers rot around you, but I'm fine with that. I think it's a fair deal if that means I can live forever. Hell, I think it's a steal. Well, when you put it that way, I guess I've been very fortunate, in a way. The memories of the past haunted him still. This photographic memory is a blessing and a curse, he thought to himself. Cain had already left when it happened. His curse had killed the land around him and forced him away from everything he had known. As if it wasn't enough to continually mourn his brother and the loss of his home, he would often see himself carrying his dead brother's body in his nightmares. Each time, his brother would only speak one word: remember. No matter what, the blood dripping on the stone was always the first thing he saw when he closed his eyes. 3 days earlier, the Foundation had requested that Cain reunite with his brother. He decided to give it a shot. Cain crossed the white room and stood over the coffin that held his brother. He didn't know if Abel could hear him in there. Maybe he was sleeping. The thought made him smile a little. Maybe Abel's habit of long naps hadn't changed. Good morning, brother. Say, shouldn't you be tending to your sheep? They're scattered all over the hills. Cain waited, no reply from the coffin, not a single sound. Abel, I'm sorry. Before he could finish, Abel's hand broke through the coffin's dark wood, gripping a sword. Cain barely had time to react after he caught a glimpse of it as it tried to decapitate him. However, Cain did not dodge the blade. He didn't need to. Abel's head fell to the floor and turned to dust, caving in on itself. Cain coughed, ran his hand over his neck, and winced. Good to see you too. I'll never get used to that. Unpleasant would be an understatement. Abel stepped out of his coffin, the blade still tightly gripped in his hand. Why are you here? What do you want? I came to ask for... Abel silenced his brother by lifting the tip of his sword to Cain's neck. Leave. Now. You know, you can never hurt me, don't you? Abel brought his sword to his own neck and thrust it into his skin. Again, Cain let him. Watching his brother being decapitated again displeased him deeply. I told you, you can't. Oh, I see what you're trying to do. Collapsing into a pile on the floor, Abel's head and body turned to dust. Very well, brother. I'll come by again soon. Cain purposefully took his time leaving, just in case Abel changed his mind, but he didn't. This scene would recur over and over for another month. Sometimes, Abel would pretend to finally be interested in a chat, only to decapitate himself by means of Cain's anomalous arm reflection ability and go back to his coffin. Sometimes, he would not even make a sound. Sometimes, Cain would come to Abel's chamber just to sit by the coffin. Sometimes, he would sing as Abel slept. Abel had been the timid brother. The only thing that soothed him on stormy nights was his mother's lullabies. Despite his age, Cain was still able to hum the soft, haunting melodies that dwelt on the brighter days before all this, before the killing. He was somewhat pleased by it. Sometimes, before Cain left, Abel would say just one thing to him from his coffin. I'll never forgive you, Cain. The next time Leora came to Cain's cell to play chess, it was quieter than most days. In the past, Cain would comment on her moves, providing running commentary of the game. Ah, I see what you're trying to do. Ooh, I see you're emulating me, but that won't work. Too late now, and check. But today, Cain was only focused on the board. Rarely did he look up or even talk. Is everything okay? You've barely said a single word today. Are you tired? What? Oh no, I'm just focusing on the game. I'm all right. He reached for a piece, but hesitated for a moment, his fingers hovering in the air. Yeah, well, being the smart guy you are, you're always telling stories, chatting up the guard, or doing something else during our games. You don't typically need to focus like that. Something else must be troubling you. She's right about that one, Cain. Guess there's no point hiding from you lot. I'm currently plagued with a problem regarding seeking forgiveness. Please forgive me. I prefer to leave the details to myself. Well, there's not much to it. You say sorry and ask for forgiveness. You say your piece and hope that person understands and forgives you. Everything sounds clearer and simpler with you. It doesn't have to be complicated, Cain. You're such a nice person, and kind too. I cannot imagine why anyone would get mad at you. You flatter me, little miss. But at the time, I wasn't the man I am today. I was bad. Very, very bad. Yeah, but you've changed for the better, haven't you? That alone should be enough to, redeem yourself, right? Cain opened his mouth, but he couldn't find the words. Thoughts of forgiveness and redemption filled his mind. Do I deserve to be forgiven after all I've done? He thought. To be given immortality, albeit with a trade-off, surely it's a blessing. Have I redeemed myself? I may not be as smart as you, but you and me, we're all just not normal people living under the watchful eyes of normal people. We eat, sleep, and live according to specific rules. If the Foundation didn't make rules for us, our own specialties would find a way for us to live painful lives. No one else could understand. Sure, some may be jealous that you get to live so long while the rest of us just stop living at some point. Death is scary, but you've beat it. Still, maybe we're simple to think that way, because, you understand your pain better than other people. I don't know. Only the cursed ones live here in cells. I think you've done enough, suffered enough, Cain. You'll be forgiven, I'm sure of it. She looked back down at the chessboard. Cain could only look at her as she planned her next move. The next day, Abel's coffin remained silent, as Cain expected. I have come to talk. Please forgive me. I apologize from the bottom of my heart. Abel slowly opened the coffin, standing and stepping out, watching his brother with patient yet rageful gaze. Heart, huh? Funny. I swear you didn't have one when you murdered me, your own brother. I'm sorry. Sorry? Sorry? That's all you can say? You have the audacity to come here and say sorry now, after killing and leaving me? Why? Killing me and leaving me to these people to leave their marks on me, all their marks? Tell me. I was young and jealous. I'm older now. Time has carved its wisdom into me. I'm here now because I still love you. Please forgive me, Abel. Abel drew his blade. As he prepared to swing, he let the sword fall to the ground with a clatter, instead putting his hands around Cain's neck. "It's not fair. It's not fair. You are so untouched. I can't leave a single wound on you. And yet, look at me. Look at all the things that have been done to me. It's so unfair. I died, and now I live a life of rage and disgrace. You, on the other hand, are revered by the people around you. You used to be my hero. But this, you let this happen to me." As he choked Cain, Abel could feel himself being choked by his own strength, but he didn't care. The rage and sadness inside him drove him to continue. "I see it, Abel. I see what I've done. I take full responsibility. I don't know how, but I promise I'll make it up to you, brother." Cain reached out and touched Abel's face to wipe the tears running down his cheeks. Abel let out a cry as he exerted his full strength into crushing Cain's windpipe. With a crunch, Abel gasped and let go, crumbling at Cain's feet. By the time the brothers' tears reached the floor, they could only wet the dust that remained. "So, how goes it?" "Oh, well, I did my best there." "Did the person forgive you?" "I don't know, and I may never know. But that's fine now. I have to accept it for what it is." "What?" "But that's so unfair. You were so worried and you did your best. I've made peace with it now. No matter how many times I apologize, if he won't accept it, there's nothing I can do. The things I've done are a part of me. Perhaps I have already redeemed myself. Maybe not. Still, no amount of goodwill and charity can erase the harm I've done. We can only do better. I still can't imagine what you could have possibly done to get a curse like losing the ability to die." He only smiled and moved his knight. "Perhaps it's for bullying a girl in chess. Come now, it's about time you end my curse, little miss." How did I end up here? I can't feel my legs, my arms, or any part of my body for that matter. The smell of blood permeates the air. I'm hurt badly, but I must fight still. The operation isn't over. The anomalies are still out there. Is this regret? No. It's rage. I must fight. I must kill. I can't control my urges anymore. But no matter how hard I push myself to get up, I can't. My body feels as heavy as steel. Then a hand held me down, and a face appeared before me. "Abel, you've done well, my warrior. Rest for now, and leave it to me." Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you a tale from the SCP Foundation. October 10th, I received a promotion. When Dr. Carmine told me that he had an opening for a doctoral research assistant within the Foundation, I thought he meant a site director or head researcher. I never expected, well, this. I was told that the handler of SCP-076, also known as Abel, is dead, and now I'm in charge of this project. Spent the day going over the file on Abel, and my goodness, it's worse than I thought. This guy is not only a complete psychopath, he's also got all the powers of some freakish adolescent fantasy. How the hell am I supposed to analyze someone who doesn't like to be analyzed and can kill an elephant with his bare hands? Although, I do have an idea. This is gonna take some finessing. October 12th. I thought I'd gain some rapport with Abel by chatting with him over a game or something. As a warrior type, I thought he might enjoy a board game, something that requires strategy. So I chose Stratago. He seemed amiable enough, although he kept staring at me hard the whole time I was explaining the rules. "So, I heard about what happened between you and your brother Cain. Is everything okay?" I said. Then Abel glared at me with intensity. His fingers holding a game piece almost broke it. He put it down slowly and said to me, "Do not speak to me of his name ever again." That bastard betrayed me and left me like this. "I'll kill you if you say his name again. Got that?" Okay, got it." I suppressed my nerves as much as I could while making my next move, but I could feel the intensity of his stare. After a while, he became totally engrossed in the game, determined to break through my defenses. I'd intended to let him win, but about 9 turns in, I realized that he was using a really simple tactic. He'd taken his martial and was using it to beat down everything by itself. I managed to lure him into attacking my bomb, blowing up his martial. Eventually, I won the game. Then Abel got really quiet. I braced myself for the worst, but he just smiled. Congratulations. You're in. In what? Task Force Omega-7. You've defeated me in a battle of wits and honor, and now you are one of my chosen elite. But I'm a scholar and not a warrior. I'm not cut out for… Well, now you are both. And it got approved by the higher-ups too. Just how much pull does 76 have here? Isn't he supposed to be a locked-up subject? Are they that afraid of disobeying this man? Tomorrow, I'm checking in for basic training with a bunch of freaks and maniacs hanging around a completely indestructible killing machine who jump straight into the most dangerous situations the Foundation encounters. Me, a desk jockey geek with a master's in psychology. I'm so gonna die. October 27th, the day of the last test. After weeks of grueling training, or torture more like, Abel met me alone outside the testing chamber. I was a bit surprised to find none of the members of Omega-7 there. The last test, you take alone. He led me into the room. There was a guy tied to a chair, a Class D personnel, and a tray of surgical instruments next to him. Pick up one of the blades, anyone, and start cutting. I started cutting the ropes. Abel then hit me in the face. No, start cutting. I dropped the scalpel. I can't. He reached into his shadows and pulled out it was long and it had a lot of hooks and saw edges and ripping blades attached to it, whatever it was. You will, or I will, tire of this entertainment and find some elsewhere. Probably by killing as many of your people as possible, saving you for last, so that you can see them all die. I didn't answer. He looked at me for a long, long while. Then he went to the door. I think I screamed when I grabbed the knife and stabbed the guy. Pretty sure I did because I tasted pennies, which means I'm pretty sure that some of the poor bastard's blood got in my mouth. Abel smiled at that and turned around. The D-Class screamed the entire time. After the deed was done, I was gone. Abel didn't seem pleased. He told me that I needed to get used to killing. He told me to go down to the labs every day, choose a cat or a monkey or a dog, but no rats or mice, and kill one every day. Vivisected alive. Really let myself feel the blood spurt. Said I needed to put aside my weaknesses. Learn to become harder, stronger. A monster. That's what he wanted me to become. A sociopath just like him. No empathy, no guilt, no feelings other than fear and anger. A monster. But I won't let him beat me. November 5th. The killings have gotten easier now. I've become desensitized to the violence and carnage. Throughout the training, I've broken bones and be broken. The first few weeks were a struggle, but I soldiered through them. And Abel smiled at me each time I put some poor sap into the dirt, or when I stood back up despite my legs being crushed. All right, listen up. We've got a mission to hunt down some sorry bastards. Those who aren't a liability come with me. More instances of SCP-3199 were spotted, or they broke free. Didn't matter, I just needed to kill them. Abel decided to let me command a squad of my own, but I had another idea. You'll be leading Team A. I'll be heading into the fray myself. No, I go alone. They'll only slow me down. Abel then let out a hearty laugh, the brightest I've ever seen from him. Haha, you've got guts. I like it. You may do as you please. I'll see you later, warrior. I stepped into an abandoned facility. There were dead bodies everywhere. Months ago, I would have been shaken to the core at the sight of such devastation. A 3199 instance didn't hesitate to make an appearance, and I killed it without a second thought. Had to make sure it stays dead. More of them approached me. Must kill. Whenever I attacked one of them, another would lash out at me. I was bleeding all over, but I didn't feel any pain, only the urge to kill. Everything became a blur of blood and chaos. Suddenly, I realized that it wasn't me who was doing the killing anymore. It was Abel, reveling in the bloodshed and carnage right in front of my eyes. I could still feel the rage within me. Must fight, but I couldn't move my body. You did well. I am proud of you. You've become what you're meant to be, a true warrior, master of the art of killing. When I regained consciousness, I found myself in a tank full of some unknown liquid, hooked to some contraption and given oxygen through a tube. A bunch of people in lab coats seemed surprised that I was still alive. I could see a reflection on the glass, but I couldn't recognize who it was. Wait, is that me? Oh God, my face is nothing but a hole now, only one eye left. My lower body is missing, and I can see my spine floating in the liquid. What have I become? The people left the room, and Abel made his appearance in front of the tank. Congratulations, warrior. You've proven yourself to be worthy. They've decided to let you in on the enhancement program by some machine. SCP-212, I believe they called it. Look at you now, from a weakling to a hardened soldier. I can't wait to see you return to form. No doubt that you also yearn for the taste of blood again. I'll see you on the battlefield very soon. The world wasn't always like this. It all went wrong when the Devourer of Worlds broke loose. We called it SCP-2317, back when the Foundation was still around. I've led multiple MTF squads to subdue the anomalies that breached containment during the chaos, but we couldn't get them all. We failed to stop 2317. What happened to the anomalies that escaped capture? I don't know, son. Some were terminated, some are still at large, and some, we let them go. Why did you let them go? Not all of them are evil. Every now and then, I think of those that have aided us in the past. Shh, quiet. I heard something. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you a tale from the SCP Foundation. Dylan opened his mouth again to speak, but was interrupted by the sound of screaming from outside the door. His eyes widened and he rushed to the door, pressing his ear to the cold wood. Gary stood up from his chair to follow his father. Dylan pressed his finger to his lips, signaling his son to stop talking. He was pale, and already droplets of sweat were running down his face, despite the fact that it was still in the middle of winter. Dylan drawn the axe at his hip. Slowly, he opened the door, holding the axe in his left hand. Stay here, he gestured towards Gary, and closed the door behind him. Under the moonlight, Dylan saw a silhouette of a creature hunched over a dead man. It had long, gangly arms and a vaguely humanoid head. Have I seen this before? Doesn't matter, must keep Gary safe, Dylan thought, getting ready to take the creature by surprise. He emerged, getting ready to sprint and quickly take the creature down. He gripped the handle of the axe tightly, grasping it with both hands. Dylan stood up and started running towards it. His feet lightly pit-pattered on the ground, barely making any noise. When he got closer to the creature, its tiny, human-like ears perked up, but it was already too late. Dylan raised the axe, neatly severing the creature's neck in half. Blood spurted in all directions from the creature's decapitated stump as it fell down on the dead man's body. Dylan inspected the dead creature and recognized its ghastly eyes and its gaping mouth full of bloodied teeth. He heard movements within the woods in front of him. He ran back to his cabin, knocking hurriedly. We gotta go. Why? What's wrong? It's not safe here anymore. Pack up your things now. We're leaving soon. Suddenly, they heard a crash come from the back of the cabin. Dylan pulled his son towards him and got to cover behind a table. They could hear the intruder was making a mess of the kitchen. They took a peek and Dylan noticed that it was the creature he killed earlier. He handed the axe over to Gary. Take this. Now follow me and watch your steps. They tiptoed their way out into the night, where several more of the creatures were stalking around. One of them noticed the father and son as they exited the cabin and let out an eerily human-like screech which attracted the attention of the rest. Damn it! Run, Gary! Run! Ah! One of the creatures broke through the door and pinned Dylan to the ground. Another one rushed in and bit into Dylan's face, eliciting another painful scream from him. Despite being trained by his father in the arts of fighting and survival, in this frozen wasteland, Gary was terrified like never before. His mind surrendered control to his body and he ran straight into the woods. He heard stomping on the ground behind him, and he knew that the creatures were giving chase. But he was too terrified to cry, too terrified to look back, too terrified to do anything but run. One mistake was all it took to die in this barren land. A simple misstep, and his father made enough noise to attract the attention of the creatures. They descended upon him like mad dogs hungry for the meal and tore him to shreds. Soon enough, Gary arrived at what appeared to be an abandoned cabin in a clearing deep within the woods. He pushed open the door and slammed it shut behind him. He slid down with his back against the door, hugging his father's axe, a remnant of his MTF's days. "Damn it, Father! Damn it!" The surrounding area was oddly barren and utterly devoid of vegetation. Then he finally realized that sitting in front of him was a frail-looking man. "I see they have found new prey to hunt. Who are you?" "My name is unimportant. There are more pressing matters at hand." Speaking of which, the man was interrupted by another one of those creatures that had busted through the decayed cabin wall. The creature pinned the man down, chomping him and tearing through his flesh relentlessly. Suddenly, its body convulsed as bite marks manifested on its neck and flesh torn from its skin. The man, however, appeared unharmed. "What? How did you?" "I simply can't be hurt." No doubt you have 1,000 questions in your mind right now, but we don't have time for that. They're coming. Terror overcame Gary as he spotted more of the creatures skulking around the cabin outside. They stood up and rose to their full 10-foot height. Then, in synchronization, they screamed. The scream deafened Gary for good, stunning him and sending him to the ground. He could feel blood rushing down his ears. "This is no time to be afraid, boy. You must fight." I can't. My father's gone. I'm gonna die." Fear is the mind killer, boy. You must not fear and face them. Look at them. They've killed your father, and now they're coming for you. Gary wiped his tears away and gripped his axe. He could imagine his father getting torn apart by those monsters, their bloodied teeth digging into his skin and tearing flesh from bone. He wanted them dead. Gary tightened his grip on the axe with a look of determination in his eye. A creature charged at him. He bashed and struck at the downed creature over and over again until it turned into an unrecognizable mess. The man caught the rage in Gary's eyes. "Who wants some?" They were on him in seconds, sinking their claws and teeth into his body. But Gary was not deterred as adrenaline was pumping through his body. Over on the other side of the room, the man was being swarmed. He didn't fight back, but one by one, the creatures fell as he arose unharmed. He looked at the frenzied Gary, who was fighting against the horde with reckless abandon. If this is human nature, I wonder, are you truly more human than me, Brother Abel? Gary swung his axe against the horde, but soon his energy diminished and he struggled to hold his footing. His axe could barely hold them off as they became increasingly aggressive. Yet despite Gary's failing poise, the man could see that his rage was still burning inside him. His stares began to take on the look of a beast, ready to give itself to the wild side, abandoning humanity. "No, I will not allow it. Not again." One of the creatures managed to sneak up behind Gary and lunged at him, but the man managed to rush forward, took the attack upon himself, which repelled the creature. "That's enough. Stay back and follow my lead." But Gary ignored him and rushed forward for an attack. The man suddenly yanked him back and protected him from the creature's ambush. "Do you want to die? You think your father would like that? What you're doing now is suicide." "Why did you stop me? I need to kill, like you said." "No, you're becoming a vengeful demon just like my brother, and I will not let you." The creatures slowly gathered around and surrounded them. "Keep them in your view and stay behind me. When any of them jumps at me, you take the chance to cut them down. That way we can dispatch of them faster, then they can finish you off." They slowly maneuvered themselves to maintain an advantageous position. One of them lunged and bit the man's shoulder. He held its head as it clawed wildly at him. "This one, quick!" Gary held up his axe and cut at the creature's neck, almost severing it. Once it's down, Gary regained his footing beside the man. "Good. Stay focused. We're not over yet. On your left!" The man ducked as Gary swung to fend off the creature. It didn't do any damage, but it gave them more space. They fought side by side each other for the entire night. When the creatures went for the man, Gary would seize the opening to cut them down. When Gary was overwhelmed, the man used his body as a meat shield to distract them, to give Gary more breathing room. As morning came, the sun revealed that the cabin was now painted in blood. They're gone, for now. More will come back. There are eggs being hatched nearby as we speak. You best get your energy up and move on. The man then handed him a makeshift container filled with water, which Gary gulped down vigorously. They killed my father. So it was vengeance I saw in your eyes. Vengeance or not, it didn't matter. They needed to die. These were monsters. No, your father's gone. There's nothing you can do to bring him back. These creatures don't care about you, me, or your father, or your vengeance. They are just animals looking for the next meal. Fight not for your father, but your survival. What do you know about survival? Take a look around you. All the humans are gone. The only ones fit to survive are monsters like you and them. So don't you dare tell me about survival. I'm sorry. I was out of line. You mentioned your brother. What happened to him? You remind me of my brother. The way you fought, the intensity in your eyes. It was uncanny. He'd gone down a dark path of vengeance and bloodshed, and it was all my fault that he turned out that way, and I'd prefer to leave it at that. So where is he now? Somewhere out there, probably reveling in fights. They remained silent for a moment. Then tears started rolling down Gary's cheeks. Is there even a place for me? What's the point of living in this godforsaken world anymore? Just deaths. Life has no meaning now. Take a look around you. Nothing grows around me. Wherever I go, decay follows. It's a curse that's bound to me for eternity. Yet, if you look further, you can see the sun touches more land yet, where life flourishes, and that's good enough for me. The meaning of life isn't set in stone. It's a choice made by each one of us. That's why I chose to stay. That's why I chose to help you fight. That's the meaning of my life, because I deem it so. Who are you? I'm simply a nobody. But you may call me Cain.
Before we end this video, we are proud to present these incredibly sweet pieces of fan art. A big thank you to all of you. You can now send us your fan art, and we will be more than happy to show off your best art piece in our next video. Check out our description below on how to submit. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Which SCP do you want to see in the next video, and why it is interesting? Let us know in the comment below. We will draw your story and share it with the world. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Please share it to your friends if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.